I love Dave Chappelle, unconditionally. I met Dave in the 90s, the early 90s, 17-year-old kid, coming into New York City, just out of high school, cutting his teeth on what were some of the toughest comedy rooms in the country, and he was shockingly formed at 17 years old. And you would, old, grizzled comedy veterans from there, you would think we would have nothing but anger at this young prodigy, this young Mozart. And yet you loved him because of the kindness of his spirit. And even back then, I knew how hilarious he was and how insightful he was. I remember we worked together in the 2000s. We were both at Comedy Central. I was at The Daily Show. Dave was at Chappelle's Show. And Chappelle's Show was this rocket ship that he had created. And it became this cultural phenomenon. And Comedy Central would do anything to keep it going. And they offered Dave $50 million to just give them one more, just give us one more. But Dave at that moment was conflicted because of the difficulty of how the show was to do, because he wondered about its impact on the audience that he meant it for, and he walked away. And it was that moment that I remember thinking, Comedy Central has $50 million?
Why does walking away feel like losing now? Not quitting something you failed at, not stepping back because you couldn't, for a job that still pays well and still looks good from the outside. A path that still offers progress, validation, and attention. Why does choosing distance, even when it's healthy, still feel like weakness instead of growth? Why does staying feel responsible while leaving feels like something you need to justify? Because somewhere along the way we stopped knowing how to recognize restraint. And without realizing it, we started confusing motion with meaning. When walking away used to mean clarity. There was a time when walking away meant you understood something. Not that you were afraid, not that you were incapable, not that you lacked resilience. It meant that you could see where something was heading and decided not to follow it there. Leaving didn't require a dramatic ending. It didn't require an explanation that satisfied everyone else. It was quiet. Walking away meant you noticed diminishing returns. It meant you recognized when effort stopped turning into growth. It meant you valued alignment over momentum. And most importantly, it meant you trusted your internal sense of direction more than outside approval. That kind of decision didn't come with applause. It didn't produce proof. It didn't make a great story. But it produced peace. And for a long time, that was enough. What changed? That shift didn't happen loudly. No one announced it. No rule was written down. It happened through incentives. We built systems that reward staying visible, staying consistent, staying in motion. We began measuring value through output, through endurance, through how long someone could keep going without stopping. Slowly, staying became admirable. Persistence became moral. Endurance became proof of character. And leaving, even thoughtfully, started to feel uncomfortable. Because staying produces evidence. You can show up. You can post updates. You can point to progress. Leaving produces none of that. There's no metric for clarity, no scoreboard for restraint, no data point for inner alignment. So in a culture built on proof, anything invisible starts to feel illegitimate. Not wrong, just unconvincing. And over time, that gets interpreted as failure. Why walking away feels heavier psychologically.
Do you feel that your message of love that you brought back from Islam is the real reason they're after you?
I do know that when I wrote that letter saying that there were white people in Mecca, it shook up a lot of Muslims. because most of the Muslims who follow Mr. Muhammad absolutely believe that it was impossible, physically impossible, I should say divinely impossible, for a white person to go to Mecca. And my trip shattered that image.
Why are they threatening your life?
The real reason is that Elijah Muhammad, the head of the movement, is the father of 8 children by 6 different teenage girls who were his private personal secretary. John Ali, the national secretary, admitted that they absolutely were going to kill him.
What do you take to protect yourself from this threat?
I take no steps. I have a rifle. If anybody comes to my house without a good reason, I intend to try and use it, and that's all. No, I don't worry. I tell you, I'm a man who believes that I died 20 years ago. I live like a man who's dead already. I have no fear whatsoever of anybody or anything.
Walking away forces you into uncertainty. When you stay, things are predictable. You know what's expected of you. You know how to perform competence. Staying keeps you legible to other people. Leaving does the opposite. Leaving means you might be misunderstood. You might be questioned. You might look unstable from the outside. It requires you to trust something internal at the exact moment when external reinforcement disappears. That's not easy. Staying feels safer because it delays doubt. Leaving concentrates it. And that's why walking away feels heavier. Not because it's worse, but because it demands conviction without reassurance. Quiet decisions don't echo back to you. They ask you to believe yourself without hearing agreement. The cost of never walking away.
I'm saying you talking about me about some draft, and all of you white boys are breaking your neck to get to Switzerland and Canada and London. I'm not going to help nobody get something my Negroes don't have. If I'm going to die, I'll die now, right here fighting you. If I'm going to die, you my enemy. My enemy is the white people, not Viet Congs or Chinese or Japanese. You my opposer when I want freedom. You my opposer when I want justice. You my opposer when I want equality. You won't even stand up for me in America for my religious beliefs, and you want me to go somewhere and fight, but you won't even stand up for me here at home.
Most people encounter this moment at least once. You realize you could stay, and no one will stop you. The relationship will continue. The job would keep paying. The routine would remain intact. Nothing is broken enough to justify leaving. But something feels off. Not dramatic or urgent, but it will feel misaligned. Walking away at that point feels irrational to everyone but you. So many people don't do it. They stay. And probably not because it's right, but because leaving feels like loss. And at first, staying looks responsible. But over time, something subtle happens. Energy dulls, integrity gets renegotiated, self-respect becomes conditional. Endurance without discernment turns into erosion. People don't become stronger by staying too long, they become numb. And numbness often gets mistaken for maturity. The quiet reframe. Walking away isn't weakness. It isn't giving up, it isn't failure. It's recognizing when staying no longer reflects who you're becoming. Growth doesn't always look like progress. Sometimes it looks like restraint. Sometimes it looks like silence. Sometimes it looks like leaving without a replacement lined up. And that's uncomfortable because we live in a culture that rewards visibility, not discernment. Walking away doesn't trend. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't offer immediate proof. But it compounds. Alignment compounds. Self-respect compounds. Even when no one is watching, and when you feel walking away feels like losing, that feeling isn't evidence you're wrong. It's evidence you're choosing something that can't be validated yet. Not every step forward is visible. Some of the most important ones happen when you walk away. Emotional intelligence so you don't move emotionally.
Sweet little ditty, I don't mean to hurt you, baby. Oh, no, no.